long as you
Ow,
keep
that
the
fucking
timers down,
hurt.
yeah, go for it.
Sweet. Yo guys, how's it going?
Yo, what's up?
My name's Jake, obviously.
No,
That's
it's not.
Fletch.
No, well, your name ain't Jake,
Yeah.
buddy. Settle down. No one knows who you are. You're a fucking no-name.
Oh, dude. So basically,
Obviously, the guy who everyone knows me, it's Fletch. Obviously, I'm the most famous WarRock player. You know, reigning world champion, by the way. Go on. What do you want to talk about first, then?
So basically, like, just to introduce people to the live stream. So this is basically just going to be us talking shit about, or not talking shit, just like discussing about WarRock / Papaya. So Papaya is the company that runs WarRock. We're just gonna go through like a list of points. On this live stream, we're gonna just be talking about WarRock and Papaya. If we do this in the future, if you guys enjoy this kind of thing, we're gonna do different topics.
Yeah.
So
that's basically it, because it needs to be talked about, because WarRock is just not in a good place right now. It's the deadest I've ever known it. I've played it for 11 years. Jake, you've basically played. I mean, you've played it longer than me, even more than 11 years.
You've played. You started before me, but to be fair, like I've played more than you in terms of activeness. But you started like in 2007. I started in like 2008.
Yeah, I mean, so you know, I'm as much of a veteran as Jake, and these issues, like similar. I don't know whether anyone's ever seen my Nexon video. I know it's known throughout the community about my video for Nexon, and it got good responses, and I was quite happy with it, and my points were received. Everyone felt like, you know, this is how Nexon is, and they're just trash basically. And the issue that I recently came back to WarRock,
Strong words.
and I've been playing it quite a lot recently, and I'm feeling like a lot of the same issues that I saw with Nexon are creeping back into what Papaya are doing right now. So it needs to be discussed, and I think I need Papaya need to answer for what they're doing, really.
The reason why we're basically doing this is because it's like WarRock is like, we believe that WarRock's like a hidden gem in terms of gaming. Like if you compare it to other first-person shooters like Counter-Strike, for example, like it's comparable, but it's just like, so a lot of free-to-play shooters in the genre are just like, they're normally trash, but like WarRock stands out from like Combat Arms or Soldier Front or any game like that. Yeah. So it's worth just at least talking about. I mean, yeah, I agree. There's some things that need talking about that don't really get discussed a lot, like very often.
From me recently joining the Discord, I find that the number one talked about thing is lag to do with the game. I don't know whether you agree, Jake, but I find that every time something is complained about, it's always lag. And
lag in terms of what, like internet lag or frame rate lag?
Internet lag. So we're talking about internet lag here, sorry. And I would like you to bring up your poll for the NA server that you did for your recent. You did a Papaya video, right? And it was kind of hyping up Papaya, and it was hyping up about how hopefully they'll be able to fix the issues at hand. Yeah. And I feel like the NA server would have been the main fix. It would have been the main fix.
So what I personally think was, I made a video about it a long time ago before Papaya took over the game. I basically made a video where like I said, in order to capitalize on the taking over of the game, they should open up more than one server, because as we know, there's only one server in the game, and that's the international server, and basically that's just a pool of everyone from every country just piled into one server, when the player base is the majority of the player base is from Europe. So I hope this comes up on screen, so if I take that off, there we go. So this is the poll. Yeah, bear with the stream, guys, it's a little bit scuffed. So basically, can you see everything there? Yeah, so that's the pie chart. So like we did a poll when I made that video, and the poll was basically, should North Americans get their own server in the game? And 92% of people voted yes, 4% of people voted no, 3% of people voted they don't care.
And that's just crazy. It's crazy to get a...
Thank you, come again.
Thank you, come again. Sorry, dude. Ozzy, thanks for the follow, bro. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. It's crazy to have such a poll that is such in the majority of having an NA server, and for Papaya to not even recognise this issue. they've never once discussed about having another server.
Yeah.
Like from back in the day, there was 20 servers. Okay,
Yeah.
they reduced it down from only split into a few servers, which is how it should be. And then eventually, it's just gotten to the point where Nexon brought it down to 1, Papaya brought it down to 1, and Americans or people from that sort of region and that area just have such a delay to everyone that's from our area, and they no longer want to play.
Yeah.
People don't want to play against us. They don't want to play against, it's an absolute shit fest. And whenever anyone wants to talk about playing the game competitively, they bring up these 3 things. They bring up about the fact that everyone's too laggy.
Yeah.
They bring up with the fact that, you can't.
Thank you. Come again.
Get rid of all the hackers.
And
There's also the overclockers as well, which you could almost bring into the hacking department. But overclockers, laggers, and hackers, they're always the 3 things that come up whenever you try and talk about the game competitively, and people just give up. Like, everyone's given up. Like, I look in the chat right now, and all I get is, I've given up on WarRock, I've given up. Like, it's such a big thing where everyone is just tired and fed up with trying to fix the game, play the game even, do anything with the game. Everyone's given up. But at the same time, what brings you back to the game?
It's
Why
funny
do you
because
guys
it's
still
like,
play?
yeah, because it's like the game's so in such a broken state. It's always been broken. It's probably one of the most broken games I've ever played. But yeah, it's so fun, and people keep coming back to it. So I think it's definitely got one of those there's something about it that's so addicting, and it's got a lot of replayability in it. And I think
Thank you. Come again.
thanks for the follow, Dexter. I think that it's just it's you can just, it's got a really good feeling to it. I believe that games that feel addicting and fun to kill people and fun to kill stuff, fun to play. Also, it's an MMO game, and that is basically instead of matchmaking where you play games like League of Legends nowadays, you can just jump into a room and get to learn who you're playing with, and you become familiar with the people. I think that's also a pretty satisfying element of the game of playing it.
Exactly. There's so many great things about WarRock that sometimes they overshine the bad things, but it's gotten to the point where you just can't look at this game and take it seriously anymore.
I mean, what you were saying about the lag, just to cut you off there,
yeah, go on.
About the lag, if I can hopefully get this fucking video on. So shit, I don't know why this is cropped. Let me just sort this and get it fully on screen. It shouldn't even be cropped.
When Chapter 2 came live, I mean, the game's always been fucked in that sort of sense. It's just been outdated.
Yeah, so in this video, we were just talking about the servers. I made this point, but I think people kind of brushed over it. So this is in the old days. So if you look at this servers here, nowadays we only see one server. So anyone who's new to the game doesn't understand that this was a thing. If we take a look at the North American population, there's not a insane population there, but it's on par with Turkey. And people, normally say this game is mostly got people from the east, from Turkey in the game, and North America was on par with that. Nowadays we barely see any North Americans playing this game. Germany was ruling it. UK's bloody tiny.
UK is always tiny, but UK doesn't have a huge
I
community
swear,
of gamers. It's fine. UK will always be tiny.
These bars don't represent what the server's capacity was actually like. Even though this bar looks like just a slither, if you joined that server, I guarantee there's probably about 30 rooms.
30 rooms. 30 rooms. And 20,
so
30 rooms.
If you look at that Germany server, that's hundreds of rooms. That could be 200 plus rooms, maybe even
easily.
more.
I would almost go far to say 300 to 400, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
I mean, not necessarily all those rooms are full, but there's definitely around 300 to 400.
Yeah.
And in terms, and if you want to talk about Philippines WarRock, Jake, because it's something that personally surprised me.
Yeah.
You guys want to listen to this about Philippines WarRock?
So basically, if you log on to Philippines WarRock, or I know it's funny because 25% of my audience on YouTube is from the Philippines, and that's just crazy. But then I went to actually have a look myself, and if you log on the game, they have 300 pages of rooms from the Philippines, and their game is completely crisp in terms of lag. There's barely any lag there, so it's a lot more playable than our version of the game. Just because they all live in the Philippines, they all play together, and that just it makes the game so fun for them, and that's why it's so popular in their country.
Yep, I just think that's crazy. How can a game and an area, Philippines, we're talking about Philippines here. This is a small, country. It's like the size of the United Kingdom, for example. Okay, it's a good way to represent it. And that just that small country has like almost double the players that the international WarRock server has.
Yeah.
And that screams to me that one of the main issues is the lag. People don't like playing against other people.
The thing is, the server right now, I believe, is in France, and I'm in the UK. So when I play the game, the bullet registration is instant. Good. When I shoot someone, instantly it hits. But the thing that people don't understand is the reason why you see people warp, like you see people warp from position to position, is because I don't think that they dip down on like the tick rate of how often they send the player's position to the server, how often they update it. But I think that if people are from different locations, like say if there's someone from North America, for example, that's going to be delayed, and that looks warpy, and that's one of the biggest issues. So the server capacity, I think the server's there. I think we're getting good gameplay. When I play against other people right now that live next to the server, it's a good gameplay experience. But majority of people are not from where I am, so a lot of people don't even live next to the server.
No, you got Turkey, it's a massive population of the game at the moment, and people from like Europeans, Turkey, there's an element of lag there. It's not huge, and it's not like how the delay is between Americans, but that is a huge community in the game, the Turkish community, and we do lag to each other.
Yeah.
And it's quite infuriating. You can't feel like you can play the game. People want to segregate communities, okay? So you have like on Discord, for example, you have English discussion, Turkish discussion, German discussion. You have all these different. The game is split into all these languages, but piled into one server. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like they don't quite grasp that. And the home game admins are people that can only speak multiple languages, which is bad and good in a sense, because you have to kind of expect the fact that they need to speak multiple languages, but so they can communicate with the whole community. But then you don't necessarily have the right people for the job.
Are you talking about the HGMs now?
Yeah, in a sense. I just thought I'd branch off a bit because that's sort of what I'm.
HGMs are like, in order to be a HGM, you have to speak more than one language. If you go and you apply to be a HGM and you can only speak one language, you're not going to be accepted. But I think you have to have English, though. I'm pretty sure. You can't not have English.
No. Which makes sense.
It makes sense because at the end of the day, HGMs are just slaves, really. Like they just spectate rooms and just answer tickets. They're just slaves. They don't have any more powers than that. But yeah, what do you think about? Thanks for the follow, Matty dude. So, what do you think about introducing ping limits to rooms? Because people's response to fixing this issue is having ping limits in the room. So back in the day, we used to have green, yellow, and all ping limits.
Yeah, we did.
So what's your opinion on that?
That's a really tricky one, because once again, I feel like it doesn't work for everyone.
Yeah.
So for people like me and you, I think it's perfect. Ping limits is exactly what we would want. But okay, for example, you got someone like this American, okay, and now everyone wants to have a low ping room. Now, for Americans, they've got high ping. So now you're instantly segregating the whole North American community.
It's such a stupid idea. Yeah, because
they can't play in any rooms.
You're just going to kick everyone off the server that's not from the server. So you just actually want to kick Americans off the server. I mean, I'm not saying that Papaya want to do this, obviously. No. I'm just saying. But like
ping limits don't work.
But one of the big issues right now, if I like jump into WarRock quickly, like if I just look at the server list, it's so segregated. It's so hard to find it. Are you fucking serious right now? Got disconnected from the server. So
good game, boys.
Good game, boys. Yeah, good servers.
Good servers.
So basically, like,
thanks for
the follow, Zapayaka. So if you take a look at the list of rooms, it's so hard to find a room these days because there's so much segregation. Like something that I don't agree on is like Big Head Battle. I know some people will love Big Head Battle for their XP or whatever, but like Okay, so if I find like Cali Valentine, I'm not going to join it because it's Big Head Battle. So these room options, for example, are an extra bit of segregation in the community. Like, okay, knife battle, okay, whatever. Same class battle, oh, I only want to play sniper. It's like, it's so hard to find a room these days.
Yeah.
And introducing ping limit would split it so much.
Even more.
Jesus Christ.
You're reducing, you know, the community is small enough as it is, and
Yeah.
you don't want to be segregating certain parts of the community.
Yeah, so we can both agree that ping limit is stupid. Like, that's a stupid suggestion. But
Easily,
it's a good thought. It's a good thought, but, you know, it's just not.
Doesn't work in practice, unfortunately.
Yeah, it doesn't work
in bigger games it does, but not in ours.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly highlight that on screen right now. Like, I was looking at the pages of the rooms. Like, I took these screenshots from an actual YouTube video where this guy was just scrolling through them, and it's like page 3 has like an international server where everyone's piled together. Look how many players there were in this game back in the day. This is why people talk so much about the golden age and golden days of WarRock.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what happened was one day we had all these servers, we had all these people, and then it literally just boom. Like in one day, they just compiled everything and squashed it all into 2 servers, like Europe and international. There's all the Americans in there. So these bars, by the way, don't read too much into them because they kind of
not the population again. It's oversaturated, isn't it? Like, I mean, to fill up the bar, it would have to be like 100,000 players. It was never the case.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, we're talking about ping limit and stuff and big head and stuff. That sort of branches off into the community aspect of the game, and I feel like stuff like big head. Because I don't want to touch on competitive play too much, okay? Me and Jake don't want to be talking about ESL and stuff here, because we want to just be talking about issues with Papaya and how they can fix what they're currently not doing right. But the community as a whole also need to be looking into helping Papaya actually make the game better.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying Papaya are going to listen to us, but the issue I have when I personally play this game is that there are too little rooms for someone like me that just wants to play a standard 4v4 CQC game. You know, the whole community is too focused on big head and XP gains. Now, I believe this isn't the community's fault.
Wait,
I'm talking just talking about XP and stuff here. Cause the issue I have with it is what I'm trying to say is that there is way too many people that are too bored of the game now, and they have no reason to play it. There is no community aspect to no competitive situations where anyone wants to get better anymore. No one strives to be a good WarRock player anymore. No one's interested in that. They just want to level up and go in their big head rooms and go in their little, you know, sections where they can just, you know, big FFA rooms. I don't know what people do, but to me that's very boring. And to a large part of the population that don't play anymore, they've quit. Because this is what we're left with. This is the community that we're left with. We're left with just people that want to get XP, and it's not a first-person shooter anymore.
It's funny how like the community. Well, it seems like games in general. Like if you relate to a game like RuneScape, for example, that everyone just focuses so much on like efficiency now, and I think that all these back when I started playing, there was 20 and 30% XP ups, and those were the only 2. Oh, and maybe double up as well.
Yeah.
But since then they've added like double up 2, double up 3, 60, 50, 80, 25, 35. It's just fucking, it's a milk train. And
it is a milk train, and it's a milking, you know, if one thing that I know you want to talk about, Jake, is the milking that Papaya are doing. Are they in this for the long term, or are they in this for the short term?
Well, something I just want to quickly point out is like Big Head, for example, it encourages XP grinding. Yo, Slaptech, thanks for the follow, dude. So like something I do want to talk about is like the milking of the game though. The question is, does Papaya want to host WarRock for the short term? Do they want to just host the game for maybe 2 years, make what money they can, because they are a company, they are a business after all. They're in like that gaming industry, and you know, do they want to just milk the game and then move on, or do they want to keep the game and host it for a long period of time? What do you think they would want to? What do you think would be the best option from a business point of view, or what?
Business point of view of what they could do? I feel like with the way that they're going about it and the way that they have been, their attitude towards the community, I feel like it's mainly just a milking session.
The thing that confuses me, like Nexon, like you hear so many voices of like community suggesting things, and most of the time they don't deliver on what the community asks for. What confuses me is last year, like Nexon did this tournament, like a Nexon tournament, you know, where Nathan commentated over it.
Yeah.
Like, why do a tournament? Give players €4,000 to win. Give the winners €4,000, and then just give the game away. Like, why did they not capitalize on that? Are they just like bad at hosting a game? Do they not know how to do it properly? Because
I don't know. The whole thing with the Nexon tournament is such an odd thing to me, because like you said, like they've done this whole LAN thing, and then a couple of months later their contract ended and Papaya just took over. Why on earth did they even do that? It might have been a business play, because as we know, the LAN tournament that we're talking about, the clan 4v4 tournament, it was obviously no gun restrictions, so everyone came into the game, came back, it was a sudden surge of players, and everyone's just brought all this pay-to-play stuff. They probably made more money out of it than
so you
the
think
actual
that
cost of the tournament.
But to pay the people though, they had to pay €4,000 to the winning team.
Yep.
I think the losing team got like €1,000, I think, or maybe 2,000. I'm not 100%. And then they had to pay for like their flights, their hotel, and stuff like that. So all in all, I think they maybe spent somewhere around like 8 to 10 grand euros on this tournament. And do you really think enough? Do you really think that generated enough money for all these players to buy? Do you think it was just a failed move? I think it was a failed move.
I mean, it could have been a failed move, but the prizes didn't need to be as much as they were. I think they do need to cover the travel costs of the players, otherwise you're not going to get as many players wanting to do it. You need to cover the travel costs for the players, you need to cover their expenses, their hotel, etc. I don't necessarily think you need a prize. I mean, you can have prizes, but they don't need to be real life money prizes. They could be in-game generated items, which doesn't cost them anything, right?
Yeah.
I know for a fact, personally, okay, if I was doing a WarRock tournament, the game was quite active, and I got to the final of the tournament, and they were like, yo, you want to go to Germany, have a LAN final, and we'll pay for all your expenses, but the rewards are just in-game items, I would still go. I would still go. It would, you know, it's an experience. You're going to have a free little mini holiday with your team.
Yeah, that'd be
and
sick.
You get some in-game prizes.
Yeah.
Why Papaya doesn't do this is
well, I think Papaya, to be fair, they are slowly moving in the right direction. Like, if we talk about some of the updates they've done recently, they did an update to the character balances. So let me just bring it up on WarRock, seeing as I'm here. So on the character balances screen, got like Gina, for example, no character stats. That's good shit. So they did that correctly. Sarah, no character changes. I mean, they removed the character changes. And the reason why that's a good thing is because, but why is it a good thing to remove the character stats?
Why is it a good thing? It's just subjective, isn't it? It's an opinion.
You see, the thing is, everyone's used to these character stats. Well, a lot of people were getting used to them, but I think the gameplay of the game got too fast. I mean, if we break them down one by one, body and headshot defense is stupid because that introduces RNG into the game. So it's like you
RNG
can tank
in
randomly.
is never good.
RNG in any game is not good.
RNG in any game is
not good. Any game.
But there's RNG elements that work in some games. I mean, I don't want to branch off into other games, but there's Hearthstone as a card game, for example.
Yeah.
RNG works. Okay, people like the
RNG in a competitive shooter. No, it doesn't even have to be competitive. It's just RNG.
It doesn't have to be competitive.
It's just dumb. You put skill into the game. A skill game. We should say like a skill game.
And it soon becomes a saturated excuse. Because every time, I know personally, and I still do it now, I'll be killing someone. I don't use any skins. I'll be killing someone with Sarah, and I'll shoot 15 bullets into them, and then they'll turn around and flop me, right?
Yeah.
I will feel like they had a couple of body defenses there. Yeah. I'll call them out on it. I'll get frustrated, but it could have just been the fact that my bullets didn't hit. I had bad aim.
Yeah, it throws you off because it's like
it's frustrating.
When I've played with Sarah or Gina, there's been times where I've genuinely just looked in the corner of the screen. I'm like, I just got 3 or 4 body defenses. That guy must be so mad right now. It pisses people off when you get body defenses. And I think the things that are overpowered, like literally, a lot of people talk about guns, saying like the FAMAS is overpowered. This is overpowered. That's overpowered. Yeah, mostly just the FAMAS. But literally the accuracy boost when it was there, like 20% accuracy boost, it might as well have just been 100% accuracy boost. It was insane. Like an SP usage reduction. That makes you run so much faster. It gives you an extra roll every now and again.
Especially if you know how to utilize it.
Yeah, if you know how to use SP, then it's just crazy. Weight reduction makes you look like an overclocker. It's crazy. Yeah. So those things were all bad.
But
like I'm glad they got rid of that.
From a Papaya
Thanks for the follow, dude.
perspective, I think it's good that they removed the stats from the skins, or most of them. That's about the only thing I can say that they've done right. As a general.
Well, let's be fair and let's see what other updates they've done. So if we can just think of another update they've done.
I mean, personally, from what I know and from what I've been, when I've been following the game and listening to all the updates and stuff, the skin and the gun change is the only big thing that they've done, and the skin changes were good. The gun changes are up for debate, in my opinion. I think that the gun changes, something like nerfing the Scar, is good. They haven't touched the FAMAS because I think it's the most popular gun and people would be upset.
Yeah.
They buffed the P90, which from my perspective is terrible because I'm an ESL player and it's really annoying that the P90 can be such a strong weapon in competitive play.
Well, to be fair, the P90 is like it's you might say it's overpowered now, but there's room for mistakes. Like, they're not perfect. Like, if they buff the P90 and when they buff the P90, they're looking at it from a perspective of other guns that they're trying to par up to. So if they're trying to par the P90 with the FAMAS and make a balance there, like maybe it could be the right thing, but like ESL rules are not really something that's very mainstream.
It's not going to be something that's reviewed.
It's annoying. It's annoying when you play P90 in ESL, but I think like somewhere down the line, somewhere in the near future, they could nerf the P90.
I feel like the P90 was a gun that wasn't taken into account when Papaya were buffing and nerfing guns. They should have known that P90 was an ESL gun, free to play, and it shouldn't have been buffed to the extent it was, because the ESL guns should be untouched. They don't need to be buffed. They don't need to be nerfed. People aren't looking at the free to play guns. They're not looking at ESL guns. They're looking at the guns that are paid to play, that are overpowered, that are unfair. Guns that are accessible to everyone for free, they don't need to be changed. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What is the point? The only issue we're having is when we got pay to play weapons that are inaccessible to everyone because people have to pay real life money for them. They don't want them to be too overpowered compared to the free guns.
Yeah.
Do I think that they should be a little bit better than the free guns? Yes, I do, because otherwise what's the point in paying for them? You're just paying for a skin. I think pay-to-play guns should be more powerful. You
know what? Games like CSGO, League of Legends, any other game that has like a skin, like H1Z1, games with skins are good. So a gun could effectively be a skin or like some kind of collector's item. Because I hear people always talk about, make this gun more useful. Like, for example, the Uzi on the Medic. Like, people always say stuff like, the Uzi's useless. But it's a gun. Like, you gotta have some variety and have some fun. Just because it's not the most efficient gun that's on par with like the K1 doesn't mean you have to change
you can't use it,
like there's some guns in here that are bad. Doesn't mean like that you use them. You don't just use them to like get kills with them. You use them for fun, and it's another one of those things where people just care about like efficiency or just use what's fun. I mean, Uzi's pretty. I don't use the Uzi, but like I'm not gonna say make it better.
I think it's Uzi, by the way. You're getting called.
Uzi, yeah, shit. Yeah, you're right.
Uzi, mate.
Uzi.
Do I?
Yeah,
Jake's
it's
got
Uzi.
scuffed English, boys. Don't worry.
Yeah, man, scuffed boys. Don't worry.
Yeah, but I think we've touched on the gun and skin changes. In terms of we're not trying to shit talk Papaya for everything, because I think that's the only half decent thing they've done. But I think they've had the game for 7 months now, and that's the only decent thing they've done.
Yeah.
And that kind of, I feel like that's not quite right. There should be some other kind of things that we can focus on and go, wow, look, Papaya have done this, Papaya have done that. I remember tuning into their first developer stream. I think it was like August 2017.
Yeah.
And this was like 6 months ago now, maybe more. And their main slogan was "Make WarRock great again."
Yeah.
Now, to me, that was a little bit cringy because I'm thinking in my head, you guys aren't going to do anything, are you? But then, they did a good job into making people believe they were going to do a lot of things. and I was like, you know, maybe these guys might actually have a little bit of heart and passion. They might actually turn the game around. And what they do is that they do one developer stream, and then a week later they do another developer stream, and we haven't seen them on Twitch since.
Yeah, it was literally called developer livestream #1, and like I made a video where I took the highlights of it, and they didn't want me to upload it to the channel, but I was like, whatever, I don't care. This is gonna get. There's a lot of old players that have quit the game that are subscribed to my channel,
which they don't understand.
They're gonna find this interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
And like the live stream, it was it was an hour-long live stream, and I had to like cut out like 40-ish minutes, obviously because it's a highlights. Yeah. But the thing is that there was when I was editing this video,
I think there's quite a lot of babble.
When I was editing this video, I was trying to cut out the parts that made them look bad. So I was trying to literally make them look good. Yeah. Obviously they're new to the game, so they don't know everything, but like they should know some of the things. Like they didn't even know that Big Head existed. They didn't even know it was a thing.
It's cringy. It really is cringy.
And you wanna tell them that like, guys, the FAMAS is overpowered. You wanna tell them that when they don't even understand that Big Head is in the game. Can't at that point I just gave up. Like, holy shit, these guys don't know anything. How are we gonna convince them that this is wrong with the game and that's wrong with the game?
That is exactly it. How can you convince someone the issues exist? Like, you know, all those basically the same issues that everyone complain about all the time, you know, with the FAMAS and stuff. How can we convince them that when, like you said, they don't even know what exists in their game?
Yeah.
I mean, they just took the game over, but I don't feel like as a company it's a good business move to take over a game and not at least try and learn everything that is what you should know as a standard WarRock player. Like, I can guarantee there is no one in this stream that does not know that Big Head mode exists.
Yeah.
Now, flip that into a perspective where you'll then say, okay, all the players know what Big Head mode is, but you own and run the game, and it's your job to, you know, you literally own the game, and you don't know Big Head mode exists.
Yeah, and this is a month in after they've been hosting the game as well. They hosted the game for like a month, and they still didn't know what it was.
Yeah, and before they're hosting the game, like, you know, there's probably a few months of negotiations that they were going to take the game before. So they had all this time probably to research that they were doing the game. And they don't know, you know, it almost feels like the only time they've actually ever played WarRock was when they did that developer stream where they've had games.
To be honest, I don't know what these three people do. I know they do something in the background, but apparently there's two lead game admins and lead game masters. Called WarRock Fight and WarRock Flight, and apparently they know everything about this game, but they're not the people that show themselves. But if that's the case, then why don't we have them on the stream instead? I don't know. Why do we not hear their like opinions more? I don't know. Like, I don't know what these guys do in the background.
Yep. And this is the thing. There was three people on the stream as well. One of them was the girl who never ever said a word either. So why they put her on there was unbeknown to me. But
people said she was looking at her phone the whole time, and
looking at her phone.
But apparently she's just reading chat though. But yeah, that's to be fair.
But do you know what I mean? It's like you got some. It doesn't sit well with me when you got someone on the stream that is just sitting there looking at
developer live stream. By the way, these guys aren't developers.
No.
These guys are like community managers at best.
Yeah, that's exactly what they are. They brand themselves as something bigger than they are, and it's really silly. Like, they are not developers of the game. They're not Dream Execution. They don't code anything within the game, really. Everything that they want to do, they just go, Dream Execution, can you do this for us? And then 9 times out of 10, they probably won't even get a response, or they'll say no, which is mainly due to the fact that they don't know, they're not asking for the right things. And what they can do as community managers is make tournaments, make the game as good as it can be for what it is. Instead of trying to do all these gun and skin changes, why don't they just make it so the tournaments just do what they can do? Just do what they can do. Wait, who just joined?
Shut up.
Yeah, we need to get you out of here, dude. Wait,
do what I can.
join the Jake channel. We joined the Jake channel.
Switched.
User was moved
And
to
we got
user
and
has
we got
moved to
Ahmad
your
here as
channel.
well. Yeah.
He's probably so confused right
Yeah,
now.
he's probably so confused. He's like, why'd you guys move me?
I was like, I thought we were in Jake's channel. So
Yeah.
it's
Cars, when you get in here to mod, dude, we want to maybe get some people's questions. What do you want to talk about now?
Okay, going on to the main thing I dislike about Papaya is social media.
Social media. Oh,
Now,
okay, yeah.
Yeah. Can anyone, and I hope everyone does agree with me on this, is that same as Nexon, and I don't know if anyone's seen my video, but my main issue with Nexon was that they didn't use social media properly. They didn't use Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, anything.
You
they
know
did
what?
not use anything.
Yeah.
And it's the same as Papaya. They don't use it. They don't use any of it. And I don't know whether you want to show anyone what their Twitch is currently like. I mean, literally, their last stream is August 2017. I'm not sure about their Facebook. I don't know whether they have one.
So yeah, so this basically what you're talking about is
crazy.
how to make the game popular and how to branch out and do
Yeah.
what's relevant.
It's like a company, okay? It's like a company making a company or taking over another company and then not making it known that they have that game. Like, these guys do not showcase their game to anyone.
The most successful game that's come back is old school RuneScape. But even if you look at games like H1Z1, PUBG, Fortnite, you know, they're gonna have a Reddit. Okay, so first of all, I believe that the forums on their website, I think forums are outdated, and Reddit is basically the new forums. They have to use what people are now using nowadays. Like old school RuneScape understood that their community a lot of their community uses Twitch, so they started using Twitch.
Yep.
Their community uses Discord. Okay, they start using Discord. You know, don't stop there. Just, you know, it's just the forums really. Like, they should definitely branch off into the forums. Into Reddit, sorry. And another thing as well is they desperately need to start doing something with YouTube, because YouTube's a big one as well. I don't see any YouTube videos from them.
Reddit and the forums is a good hang on, sorry. I think my mic's okay.
No, your mic's fine.
But I have Reddit and the forums, okay? So basically Reddit is essentially a forum and can be used as a forum, and Reddit is the new forum for games. One of my friends earlier helped me figure that out.
I'm gonna search for a Reddit for WarRock.
Yeah, I think there is a Reddit back in Nexon days. But like in Discord, I was talking to a HGM, a home game admin, yesterday, sorry, and he linked me to the forums, okay? And I went onto the forums, and it was, it was clunky. There's issue with the forums, I feel. People don't want to go onto a forum and just read through lines of text or all these forum posts that are completely useless. It's not moderated properly. No one wants to go onto a website, have to log into their forum username or sign up. You know, Reddit is a universal thing. You make one Reddit account and you can use it for every game you play. I'm sure a lot of you guys in the stream, there's no way you only play WarRock, and most of you don't. Probably Ashley's an exception to that. But regardless of Ash, you got people that, personally, I'm signed up to the old school subreddit, World of Warcraft Reddit. You got
Reddit is like Discord, because Discord, I really like Discord now. Like, it's not comparable to TeamSpeak for talking, maybe for some people, but Discord's like on your left. You have all the servers for Discord, like, I want to chat in the WarRock Discord, I want to chat in this Overwatch Discord, stuff like that. And Reddit's something similar, because you can just browse your favorite Discord, your favorite Reddit, sorry. And just looking at this Reddit here, the last post was a year ago from ESL. Oh no, 1 month ago. What's this? 3 months ago. WarRock since beta until. I wonder why no one plays anymore.
Just reading the chat anyway. Just two things. First thing is, no, I said Ash doesn't play any games, he only plays WarRock. And two, Reddit is not too unofficial. I'm sorry. Every single game company and developer recognizes that Reddit is now almost a accepted form of getting their views and points across in a community. If you want to go to almost any Reddit that's big, you'll see that there's literally developer responses to certain things. There's constantly. I can almost guarantee there is some companies that literally hire someone, like a community manager or a second community manager, that just moderates Reddit. constantly looks at people's opinions, and then they take their opinions and they look for topics that constantly come up. There might be a change in an issue in the game that constantly comes up, and then that manager will take note from that from Reddit, literally Reddit, and then use it to improve their own game.
Yeah, let me just say something. This guy that said, someone in the chat said that Reddit is too unofficial. Just because it's like unofficial, you have to do what the
people want.
What people want. So for a good example is this game called Old School RuneScape. And, you know, they used to have a forum, but now their forums are dead because all the kids moved to Reddit. Yeah. And, you know, you just do what the kids do. So, like, if the kids use Discord, open a Discord server. If the kids use Reddit, open Reddit. Yeah. If the kids use...
At the end of the day, it is people who play your game. It's us. We are the only reason why WarRock hasn't closed. It's because we come back, we play the game, and then we are the ones that end up inevitably spending money that we shouldn't spend on the game because they don't deserve it. But that is how it happens, and that's how they keep the servers and the game and pay for the people to run the game alive.
And we want to be milked, dude. Like, we want to be milked, but we want to be milked by a game that is, you know, deserves
our money.
Shows some promising stuff, and deserves our money.
And actually some effort, you know. I don't mind them coming along and going, hey, if you want this item, you gotta pay for it. Yeah. That's fine. But I want a damn good reason to pay for that item. I want a reason why I should pay for that item. I don't have any fucking incentive to play the game. Right. For me, the incentive is competitive play, competitive aspect. And they have not spoken about it once. They have not made any polls about it. They have not made any discussions about it. The community as a whole are very against the competitive side of the community. And
I don't know if we're going to jump into competitive this stream, but someone in the chat, I read someone said talk about the sales the sales, basically reminded me of the content that Papaya / Dream Execution have recently been bringing. So, for example, ranking page still soon. By the way, it's been like 7-8 months. Someone made a ham radio saying Papaya Play make from as $100 to buy American servers. Is a ham radio.
I just went onto my WarRock and thought I'd alt-tab back onto it. Connection terminated from server. We've already seen that on stream once today, so
that's 2 in a row, man. So if we look at shop as well, this only came out about 1 or 2 months ago as well. Like, most of it's still not even implemented. So weapons finally implemented. Items are coming soon. How hard is it to just add stuff? Like, is it hard to add stuff?
It's an effort thing, isn't it? It's an effort thing.
But surely they've made it in a way where they can just slot in what they want.
I don't know, but what I know is that I checked it earlier, and all there seemed to be was Valentine packages and AKs. I don't really understand why AK of all things, because such an underused weapon.
Ash is like, I've got an English jacket.
Alright, Ash, can you settle down with your slide eggs, please?
Let's have a look at the in-game shop just for comparison.
I mean, the in-game shop's fine, actually.
We want to talk about tactical gear as well, right? We'll talk about that after I just browse through this.
Yeah, I'll do my 9.
So one thing that there's something that we didn't give them credit for is stop selling permanent skins, apart from this one's permanent. Okay, so this one's also permanent. Okay, never mind, they do sell permanent skins.
There's permanent skins have not really. I literally saw people earlier on posting things in Discord saying, "Oh look, I just."
Oh, they are permanent. Okay, never mind.
Permanent
Sorry,
have never gone.
They are permanent, but they don't. Okay. Whoa, these pieces are back, dude. They're selling character skins again. Dude, they brought it back. No, okay, it's incredibly nerfed, but they did remove this Sarah items, but they've brought them back. So now with Sarah you can get 2 headshot defense and 1% body defense. And now everyone's going to be buying this stuff and going into 16-player Cali Byway rooms.
Wow, okay, so
the
only thing that I was given Papaya credit for...
They just put it back in the game.
They've put it back in the game.
But it is nerfed though, but it is really...
Regardless of it being nerfed, that isn't what the community voted for, right?
Okay, but no one... they went back on what the community asked for.
Someone's saying the Sarah packs were always there, so maybe it was just simply a nerf and not actually.
No, these were removed. I know I haven't got any evidence for it, but these were definitely removed for a while. I don't know how long, maybe a month.
You know, simply
they were removed.
What they might have done is I don't know. I'm gonna take your word for it and just say they removed it and put it back in recently. We'll go with that. I mean,
I can't remember. Oh, I'm like 90% sure they were removed for a while.
You're removed for 2 good months. I'll tell you why they were probably removed. They were probably removed because they removed them, and then they told Dream Execution, "Yo, can you nerf these items a little bit or a lot?"
So they've
put
done a
them back in
nerf.
the game.
They've done a nerf and put them back in.
Yeah, that's what they've done.
I guess that's better than nothing. I mean, the like SP usage reduction and accuracy, they're not too bad. They're not too game breaking in small amounts. But the RNG, I don't like the RNG. Even if it's 1%, I don't like body and headshot defense. I just don't like it.
Yeah, no, that's terrible. That's a terrible thing in the game.
But you know what I think would be interesting? Obviously, I don't like skin effects at all. But what might be interesting is like if they had one character, just as a suggestion, one character has like plus 3% SP reduction, but then like minus 3% accuracy. So you get like advantages and disadvantages with each character. But Sarah, I hate Sarah because she's in all black. Like you can't tell what team she's on. So many times, like if anyone ever watches me play, you'll see me shoot against my own team all the time if they're Sarah.
Yeah, you can't.
So this is just a bad design for a character.
Yeah,
really.
It's just a bad design for games. Like how can you have it where your whole time you've played WarRock, you know you're derb, right? So you know that you're orange or brown, whatever you
banned.
You're wearing brown gloves, right? So you know that the person you have to kill is green. Okay,
yeah.
That is simply how
green
it is.
and yellow.
Same as Counter-Strike, where you're playing as counter-terrorist, you're all blue, and then you're going against a brown sort of reddish kind of character. That's who you got to kill. Now you bring skins into the game, where you're simply dressed in full black. Now all of a sudden, either team, both the brown and the green team, they don't know who to shoot. They see the black character and then they're like, they have to double check. They have to look at the map, which most players don't even do, or they'll have to look to check if the name is above their head. That is something that should never be in a competitive.
Yeah.
Not even competitive, just a first-person shooter, because it's just something that is silly. It kind of triggers me. I can't really put it into words, but you shouldn't have to double check to see or identify whether someone's a teammate or an enemy.
Yeah.
That is the
that would be a quality of life fix though. I find that the names are more transparent now than they were in the past. I can't see the names of people very well anymore. That's kind of crappy.
It definitely changed that.
Yeah, they don't sell permanent weapons, but they do sell permanent skins. But to be fair, just to try and give them credit, like they've always sold permanent skins. I don't think they can sell permanent skins, but they don't. Why do they make them look so ridiculous and out of place? Like, what's this Chinese guy with like, what's that thing on his head called? The hat. What's this hat thing? Like, this guy looks straight from like.
I see what you're looking
He doesn't
at.
He doesn't look like he belongs in WarRock. Yeah, a lot of these skins don't belong in WarRock. Like,
no. I've never even seen that, to be honest.
This doesn't belong in WarRock. I swear. What is that? This
you can actually you can buy the flower guns in those packages.
Yeah.
It makes me want to buy it. I'm like, oh, I've never had a flower gun, but it's silly. Why do I want to buy it?
Yeah.
Why would I hate it. I don't want to give Papaya my money, but they're sitting on a gold mine.
They are sitting on a gold mine, yeah.
Yeah, they're sitting on a gold mine where all these players, they see that item and they're like, wow, I want to get that item, and they can get so much more money. But you cannot get money if you do not have the player base there to buy the weapons.
But the thing is,
people just quit.
The thing is with milking the community as well is they take advantage of people knowing that they want the best in slot items. So people want Sarah with all the attachments, even if they're really small little attachments. They're still going to get them and try and get the best in slot items. And other games have been so successful with just selling skins. If you make your skins look hot, people will buy them. I mean, this M4 skin actually looks pretty decent. I know it looks kind of weird, but it looks okay. It looks pretty nice. Like sometimes I get a little bit. Yeah, it's the heart one. Yeah, I mean, it looks kind of it looks unique. I'll give it that.
Different, yeah.
But if you compare it to like CS:GO skins, yeah, I mean they're doing real art over there.
The issue with CS:GO skins is that I don't want to really stay into it because it's not a game that everyone will know about. But CS:GO skins can be bought and resold, and that is why they're so popular.
Okay.
Now, WarRock skins can't really be compared to it too much because there's definitely a market for
Even
people
still,
that
these skins, a lot of WarRock
Yeah.
skins are nice. I do like
WarRock
WarRock
skins
skins.
are nice and people want them, but you have to realize that there is the same thing where, you know, CSGO knives and stuff, they can all be resold.
Yeah.
So people see them as either an investment or they go, oh, well, it doesn't matter that I brought it because I can always resell it, which isn't really a thing, but it's, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things.
Right.
I mean, what about tactical gear then? Because
I know
we
we want to talk about tactical gear. Okay, so the thing is that one of the recent things they've added is tactical gear, and when I first started reading it, I was like, oh my god, are they putting League of Legends into the game? Because there's like the first item I saw was, if you wear this tactical gear, and it will give you plus 15% attack when your enemy's HP is below 30%, and it's like, is this League of Legends? Basically, the tactical gear, it's like you have 5 slots to put like these items in, and they give different perks and effects, and I thought, oh my god, they removed the skin effects, then they add these things. I think you should explain why you dislike it first.
Okay, so I'm going to explain why I'm not a big fan of tactical gear, because I feel like what they've done is that they've removed error stuff, and they've removed, you know, it was a poll to remove stuff in the game that makes you better. Now, tactical gear, I've looked into all the stuff that tactical gear does, and I agree that it's not game changing. The tactical gear is almost pointless. If you don't wear it or you do wear it, it doesn't change anything. But it's really stupid to almost add another thing into the game that makes pay to play more meaningful. You know, more important almost, or give the illusion that you need these things. And it's really confusing to me why one side of things are like, oh, we're going to remove all these extra stats of these characters and make it more fair and competitive, and then they just add a completely new thing into the game that no one's heard of, and now we're going to make it so you get benefits from this. I don't really understand that concept, and it's right now the tactical gear doesn't do anything, but it's not to say that they won't add extra things in the future to tactical gear.
I mean, the tactical gear, majority of it just gives you XP and is good in zombies, but I'll tell you some of the most game breaking ones that I've seen. So, okay, that plus 15% attack.
Thank you, come again.
Yo, thanks for the follow, Blueberry. So, okay, so secondary weapons give plus 15 damage when your HP is below 30%. Okay, that doesn't sound too game changing. When you get a headshot defense, you get plus 10% HP. That doesn't sound too good. When you kill an enemy that killed you, you get plus 15 HP. I mean, to be fair, yeah, these are kind of bad.
They're bad. They don't change much, but it should never have been a thing. It's okay. So this game, hang on one sec. I kind of want to answer this question. So someone's put, how do you comment Papaya's decision not to remove stats from every character? Sarah, Hambrook, basically every character. What do I think about not removing the stats? It's kind of annoying that they didn't go ahead and just take all off, especially the head and body defense. But I feel like there still needs to be a reason why people want to buy them, and the game runs off money at the end of the day. Whether you realize it or not, they're still a business. They still need to make money to cover the costs for the people that run the game, the servers, everything else. And if that means keeping the game alive to keep a little bit of stats and the things, that's fine. But the stats that were previously there, like the 20% accuracy in Sarah, that wasn't fine. That's too much of an advantage. You're splitting the community from a pay-to-play to a free-to-play instantly.
They are slowly closing the gap on, the pay-to-play advantage. I think removing the stats is a good thing. I think removing the stats 100% from character stats would be a good thing. But if they don't want to remove it, like I said, give some characters perks and like advantages and disadvantages. Try and make it at least interesting. Weapons skins are weapon skins, like, so say for example the TAR 21 gold I think, does more damage than the regular TAR-21. They should just keep it consistent and make every skin gun. Don't give hidden buffs in skins. It doesn't make any sense.
Someone says Sarah had 25%, not 20. I believe it was 20 without the sunglasses, and 25
I can't remember.
So 25%
The
with
most
the extra items that you brought. So if I'm just talking about the skin as in general, I believe it's 20%.
Somewhere between 20 and 25, and it might as well be 100%. That's the way it felt anyway.
Yeah.
That's the way it felt.
Yeah, 25%. It's accuracy. Accuracy is literally your spread in game. Okay, and for a game where spread it literally means how long it sort of takes to kill someone, 25% faster at killing someone is almost how it feels.
You're buying something that increases your RNG.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're buying. And like, okay, so the biggest RNG, well, it's not the biggest, but an RNG element of WarRock is the bullet spread.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna make people pay money to increase their RNG,
make them essentially better.
Yeah, so they don't actually have to have skill to be better. Yeah, so it's kind of
might be the better word, but it's fine. They've gotten rid of it at least, almost.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
Sure.
But yeah, so you were talking to me earlier about how you don't mind tactical gear because you want things. You expect Dream Execution to almost develop and bring things into the game.
I mean, it's a piece of content. I'm not going to complain about it too much, but I will say it messes up the ESL community because now it's one extra thing for ESL to worry about. But if Papaya ever introduce their own competitive game mode, whether they reintroduce Clan Wars in a better way, I don't think this tactical gear is gonna break the game. I don't think if any of us accidentally played with this in an ESL match, it's gonna change anything. Okay, the ones I disagree with is ones where you get extra HP for no reason. Okay, so if you get headshot defense, you get 10%. Don't give extra HP. The other one that really annoys me as well is the one where you can climb ladders 1.4 times faster. So you can basically climb a ladder 40% faster. Okay, if you're going to climb up like the artifact ladder or climb up the Xiaowen ladders, I don't think that's nice. If Venezia was a competitive map, you've got an item here that gives you infinite oxygen underwater. Okay.
That's just.
If Battle Group was ever competitive, you've got something that gives you infinite oxygen for no reason.
Yeah.
But
it's pointless content. That's what infuriates me. It's like I would much.
But that's the thing, though. It's
on better things.
It's pointless, but people still buy it. So it's kind of a nice little hidden money maker that doesn't really affect the game.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. At the end of the day, you're right. As I said earlier, they do need to make things that still make the game live almost. You know, they need money. They need that stuff that helps the game. So I can't disagree on that point. But someone keeps saying about the tournament, it's still the same rewards for 8 months. Why not change rewards every month or so?
So we might as well just redress tournament mode. So tournament mode is basically XP mode. It's not. It's ironic because it's like it's tournament mode. You've got 2 maps that it changes between, and it's like it's just played for XP. It's not tournament mode. And if you look at the rankings, like who cares about who can play tournament mode the most? It's just there for XP. So like this is not like an ESL thing or anything competitive. This is just like, and it's the most lazy scoring system ever as well. It's like one of the best scoring systems would be like ELO. ELO, you're probably familiar with that, like just ELO, the point system.
Yeah.
In the Clan Wars, the point system for Clan Wars was literally, you win one, you get a point. If you lose one, you lose a point. Everyone starts at 1,000 points. That is like
simple.
It's so lazy. Like
it's simple and it is
but it's not effective.
You're right.
It's not effective.
It's not. There's no reason for it to start at 1,000 either.
It's like grinding. Whoever grinds the most is the best.
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't make. That's just dumb. It promotes no lifing. It promotes everything but actual skill. It doesn't promote skill. Everything they do doesn't promote skill.
No. And that's always been, one of my main gripes.
Yeah. Big head mode, tournament mode, Clan Wars, nothing to do with skill. There's no skill involved in any of those things.
Reading a question, I don't want to read the whole question out because it's quite lengthy, but from the point I understand from the question is, wants Papaya to push Dream Execution into making the game more optimal for everyone. So we haven't really touched on the FPS.
Okay, wait, one sec. Let me just finish this guy's question because he keeps spamming it. Why don't they change the rewards in tournament mode?
No, that's what I just said.
No, we start talking about the competition of it.
Yeah,
okay, so why don't they change the rewards? Probably because that takes too much effort. Like they've not got a good system. Like I'm sure, like for example, see where I'm hovering my mouse on stream. Let me see if I don't know if you can see, but these rewards, like they would have to like get new graphics in. It's not something they can just quickly change on and off in their back-end server.
And you have to understand that this isn't.
From
my understanding, it's not Papaya that does this, is it?
It's Dream Execution, yeah. It's so long that's something that's quite annoying. Like I know they're publishers, but the communication and speed of the content coming from Dream Execution to Papaya is kind of
ridiculous. It's months behind.
It's slow as hell, yeah. It's so slow.
Yeah, and that is something that we can't really blame Papaya for, but at the same time. I don't think that Papaya are the type of company to really push someone like Dream Execution,
Yeah.
Like, you need a company that is going to be really passionate and get really frustrated with Dream Execution for not answering their emails or not talking to them in Skype calls or something, Skype in 2018 long. Yeah. But it's things like that, and I don't think they're the type of company to be doing that, and there is probably blame in Papaya for that sense. But Dream Execution, as we all know, they are pretty much lazy developers. They are. They don't do a lot. They do the minimum they can to keep the game alive. Whether they make profit is still debatable. I don't understand how they do, but I'm sure the cost of running the game isn't a lot in itself.
So. We've been streaming for like an hour now. If we start talking about FPS issues, we talked about server lag. FPS issues would make sense to talk about, but
FPS
depends if
FPS issues there's a lot to be said about it, and a lot of people don't quite understand it to the point that we do.
It's mostly to summarize. I don't really want to summarize it, but like. It depends if you want to save it for a next live stream or.
Yeah, we can save it for a next thing because the next thing we'd want to be talking about is more about. I'd say competitive stuff, to be honest, but I mean, for example, there's a live GM event going on right now, right? Is that what I'm reading?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Okay. Now, Room 10 battle group to play one game of BG with the GMs. I mean, can I just go?
Dude, they're doing they're interacting with the community, man. They're doing events and stuff.
How boring is that? No one wants to go and play a battle group game.
Oh, I see your point, yeah.
With GMs. It's not an event. It's not an event. No one cares. I mean, there are people that do care. There's obviously going to be some. I'm sure the room gets filled out in like a second, okay? But that is not an event, okay? That is not what people want from the GMs. They don't. We don't want to play a fucking WarRock game with you. We don't care. It's infuriating, to be honest. I don't quite understand it. Your community is a veteran community, okay? Not to say that the kids don't play the game, because I know there's still plenty of kids that do play WarRock, but a majority of the WarRock community are around 20 years old now, and they're not sitting in like BG mode, spam clicking the game, trying to type the password in as fast as possible, or back like we used to back in the day. No one cares.
Dude, we forgot to talk about next time. I think next stream we should talk either about we talked about a bunch of things here, but I think next stream we should talk about like the ticket system, insults, bug abuse, all that stuff, and then did we mention the polls? Dude, we didn't mention. We've got too much to talk about. We got way too much to talk about. I think we should maybe end the stream and then open another stream on another day and continue talking about stuff. We need to remember what we talked about, by the way, so we can cross it off.
I'm down for same time next week if possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all dependent, but
Yeah, we could
do the same thing. We could do the same thing, you know, 8 o'clock UK time, which is 9 o'clock for most of you people that aren't.
Right, if anyone's got any questions in the chat, ask them now, because we're planning on like ending the stream soon, and you guys should just throw your questions, and like if something catches our eye, like we'll answer the questions if it.
I mean, I think a lot of people have asked the questions as the stream's gone along, and I mean, I don't know whether I know there's quite a lot of I can't even get my words out now. YouTube questions that I've sort of missed.
I can't delete Big Head Cyber. Jake, will you play in this stream? No, dude. Sorry. This is just like a discussions live stream, so I'm not. We're going to be ending the stream soon. I'm not going to be playing. If there was if one thing you could change right now and be the last change, what would it be? So if I could change one thing now, just one change, one thing you could change. I think
that's a lot. That's a hard question to ask.
One thing I would change, I would just put an actual working competitive clan system in the game. Is that an addition or a change? Okay, change the current clan system to make it actually good.
Good, yeah. Because
and I've got good ideas on how to make it as well, but we'll have to discuss that and flesh it out another time.
See, here's a question. Carl's saying, would you rather play the game it has become, which it is,
or the game
now,
10 years ago,
or the game 10 years ago? And that is a question that it will have to be answered in two things. I would rather play the game as it is currently, because I think the game is much better than what it is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Gameplay wise, people just have probably some rose-tinted glasses with some nostalgia. But you have to remember, if the game as it is now, bar the servers, with the community back then, with how many players there were, the game would be great.
Yeah.
You can't answer something like that.
The community's changed over the past 10 years. People want different stuff as well, but overall I would say the game functions better now, but the way the community and some of the content now is bad, and I'm not necessarily saying we should go back to the old ways. Not everything about 10 years ago was perfect, but
not even close.
Yeah, it's
not about the game itself. It's about it's not about how the game was back then. I don't feel like, wow, the game was so good in chapter 1. Wow, do you remember chapter 2, or like, oh, chapter 3 killed the game. It's not about that. The game was shit. We all had terrible FPS. No one understands that. The game wasn't suddenly amazing on your PC back then. You had a shit PC, okay? It was crap. You don't understand. Go watch Jake's videos from like 8 years ago, okay? His FPS was crap.
Yeah, my FPS was shit.
Bandicam and all that. He was like, in his tutorial videos, he was like, my FPS is like 60 right now. I can't really, you know, you can't. I mean, but we can record right now with solid 140 without dropping.
Yeah.
Okay? Technology has advanced so much for us that the game is smoother. Okay, that's true. Fact. But people still have some old computers and stuff that kind of make it so you're splitting the community even more with the FPS issue, because some people have bad PCs and low FPS, while others, like, you know, especially me, who has a very good PC, has an advantage over you. And slowly over time, people started to realize that a PC really makes a difference.
Spackleticians. We did talk about the permanent package and no good boxes, dude. Yeah, we did discuss the shop.
Yeah. So, you know, as looking at, you know, Carl's question was a decent one, I guess.
Yeah, that was a good question.
The reason why the game was so much better back then was because
the community and how big the game it was. Yeah, like I showed in the screenshots earlier, look how filled the servers were with people. The more people, the better.
I mean, if you were going to ask me a question such as, would I rather play the game in its state 10 years ago with the community, or play the game as it is now with the current community, I would rather go back in time and play it.
Yeah, you'd rather play the game 10 years ago if you could take the old community. If you could take the old community, then yeah, because that's a better trade-off.
Definitely. Better trade-off, exactly. That's how it is. It's a trade-off. It's a trade-off of making how the game has... You've added many, you know, additions to the game that people will tend to overlook because the game's so old. that were way better when the game first came out. For example, a good one would be proning in CQC. I remember when you used to be able to just prone, drop shot, you know, just camping corners, laying down, and I personally, I really dislike that. I thought when they made the game so you could only crouch in CQC,
Really?
it made the game much better and more competitive. How many people actually remember that or realize that?
You thought prone was better?
I thought prone was worse.
Oh, okay, good, because prone is so broken.
Prone's stupid.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why I don't touch BG.
Yeah. I don't touch Urban Ops or BG,
or Urban Ops
Deathmatch, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, I don't touch it.
We should probably answer like one more question before we end the stream. This guy says, what do you think would be the best way to optimize the game? So he's probably talking about optimizing in terms of frame rate. So
I can easily answer that, but go on, you do it.
I'll answer it. So WarRock is like, first of all, it doesn't run good on Windows 10. It runs terrible on Windows 10. On Windows 7 it works better, but Windows 7's getting outdated now. It's just an outdated game. One thing they could do to optimize it is put the game in full screen mode instead of windowed mode, because if you guys like play this game, you play a different game, you'll notice that you can alt tab out of this game without any issues, whereas another game you try and alt tab out, the screen goes black for a second. It's not a full screen game, and that's a problem with the FPS.
It takes a lot of power in your processor.
Yeah.
Any game that you ever play, if you put it in full screen windowed mode, because that is how it is. It's not a windowed mode game. It's full screen windowed. It takes more processing power for your computer to run the game like that.
Yeah, and like so the engine, apparently it only uses your CPU. It uses one core on your CPU. This is the Jindo engine that the game's made with, that Dream Execution developed like in 2004, I think. It only uses one core, so the engine's really old. Okay, it doesn't use your graphics card. You could have a terrible graphics card but have the best CPU, and it would run great for you. You don't need a graphics card to play this game. So like, there's almost nothing you can do, because the engine needs a rework or a rewrite, and from a business point of view, I don't know how talented their developers are, and I just don't think making a new game engine is going to happen. I think they made a new game called Phantomers, and I don't know what the frame rate's like on there. I don't know if they've made a new engine. I've not looked into that. Something I probably want to look into. But from a realistic point of view, they can't change the engine. Okay, so if they can't change the engine, what other things could they change? They could make some small optimizations. There's a glitch in the game that's been in the game since the dawn of time, where dead bodies on the game give a huge FPS drop. So let's say, for example, I have 140 FPS on my computer, just for an example. If say like I'm playing in a 16-player CQC room, if like 10 people die on the ground and they're all laying dead bodies there, if I look at those dead bodies, my FPS will shoot from like 140 down to like 80, and it's literally just a bug in the game. So these engine things they can't fix, but these little bugs that destroy your FPS, they can fix.
Can be, yeah.
And another example is, okay, so this tournament mode game, again, I'm not acting like I know the game like I'm not acting like I know the game like I develop it, but this tournament mode has 24 people in the room, but when you play it, it's a 3 vs 3 mode. So normally, if you was to play a 3 vs 3 mode, you wouldn't have frame lag in a 3-on-3 mode. So what's happening is you have 4 different maps stacked on top of each other, and you have 24. So you have 6 people in this map, 6 people in this map, 6 people here, 6 people there, which make up 24 people, and they all run concurrently. So you're getting the frame issues of a 24-player room, but in a 6v6 room. So an optimization they could do is don't render anything that happens outside of your game. So don't render these players, just render these players. There's some unnecessary stuff. Unnecessary stuff going on in the game that they could optimize if they. But it's basically like bugs. If they ironed out the game, ironed out the bugs, we're gonna have to accept that the engine's never gonna get remade. Okay, you can't.
Yep. Unless they make a new game, which they won't.
Yeah, unless they make a new game, and if they made a new game, you get Phantomers, and you won't get the same gameplay. You'll get a terrible game. WarRock is a hidden gem. if you told them to remake WarRock, they would do it wrong. They've just got so lucky. They've completely fluked out with WarRock, honestly.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And that's the reason why people play it, because it's good.
Yep. Anyway, we don't want to carry on asking questions, do we? Just finish the stream there.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. We would appreciate if you give us some feedback on this, and if you guys enjoy this, we've got plenty more stuff to talk about. We only talked about a fraction of the stuff we've got to talk about, and we only came up with a list of things to talk about like an hour ago. So
just think of things, and trying to. I'd like to see some people in the Discord, sort of, not.
Oh, connection terminated, by the way. Banned for the podcast.
Not like fanboy, but just try and say like, bring up the fact that this stream happened to the home game admins, and try and get it so these messages and these points get, to the higher up people, because that's ultimately the goal. We're not here just to like, oh, fucking Papaya or a bunch of
thing is,
that don't do anything. That's not what it's about. We want them to actually make the game better. That is the main thing.
Yeah. Lith asks if I can remove his B-list ad. Sure, dude. Sorry about that. I'll remove your B-list ads. I got 26 people B-list added right now. Yeah. So anyway, we're not trying to destroy. We love WarRock. Even though my main account is banned, I got banned unjustly. What I'm gonna say?
It's a whole fucking different story.
It's a whole different story, but
want to go into
we're not trying to ruin Papaya or WarRock's name or anything. We're trying to get a discussion going. And from that discussion, poke, Papaya, make them aware of the issues, and improve everyone's gameplay, because we genuinely believe that this game is like a hidden gem, better than Counter-Strike, better than any other game, a huge trigger warning, but
yeah. Right.
Okay. Right.
That's it. Let's end it there. Oh,
right.
give me a shout out though, boy. Give me a
All
shout
right.
out.
So if you guys want to go ahead and follow Fletch, is it Fletch CG? I'll put your Twitch.
I linked it in the chat.
So would you?
I actually do play WarRock on stream sometimes.
So yeah, you don't stream on YouTube. You don't make YouTube videos, do you?
No, I don't. No, not really. No.
So if you guys want to go ahead and give Fletch CG a follow on Twitch, that'd be great, because he streams WarRock way more often than I do.
And I have a sub button as well on
Twitch. He has a sub button, boys.
So go use your Twitch Prime on me. You're a streamer. Go use your Twitch Prime. 3 months, free 30-day trial.
Yeah, dude, he streams way more than I do, so give him a follow. I know you guys are hungry for some WarRock content.
WarRock content, yeah. Basically the only one providing any at the moment.
Harsh words, but yeah, it's true. Right, peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.
See you later.